Okay, guys, this is the final episode of Love and Hip Hop Couples Retreats. And I'm so sorry to see it end because it was a very, very good reality series. Um, it begins as it always does with the couples coming out and sitting in front of each other, reading the little cards and asking the questions. And one of the questions was, what are your three favorite memories that we share together as a couple? Rashida shared with Kirk the first night they spent together, and he was teasing her about how the next morning she got up and she was in the kitchen making breakfast, and he was like, he was very pleasantly surprised. He said she didn't know what she was doing, but at least the effort. He gave her an A for effort. Ray J and Princess, when they did their question, Princess said the day that Ray J proposed to her was the most special day. Um, with Michael Blackson and Ryder. She said, well, Michael actually said to her that he said whenever they went out on their date, she paid for the meal. And he said he was pleasantly surprised by that because, generally it's always said that the man is supposed to pay for the meal, but he said it was just so refreshing to have someone else pay for the meal. And I break it up. I know me personally, I do that too. I don't mind paying for the meal, especially if I invite the person. I don't see a big deal with that. I just feel like it should be fair play. It shouldn't always be put on the man. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, with Delicious and Raven, Raven said them getting married was one of the most special memories. And then it moves on to the next scene where Michael's in the pool. He has a severe him and DC's have a severe fear of the water. I don't know what it is about them, but he's in there with the noodles. He's got the noodles on, and he's got the little inflatable arm floaties, and so he's in the water, and he's trying to coax him and get him to come from one end of the pool, kind of move out from the baby end of the pool to the deeper depths of water. So that was cute. Then the ladies get together at the poolside and they're discussing the night before. They're talking about, remember, the night before they had the young lady come out and she gave them like little bags of goodies and treats to take with little fun stuff in it. And so the ladies are discussing what they did. I think all the couples explored some of the items except for um, my gosh, Kirk and Rashid, and he said they didn't even need that. And some people don't need those items. But it's nothing wrong with spicing up the bedroom. There's nothing wrong with that. And so they do their final exit interviews with AJ. And in the beginning, Mendeecees and Yendi come in first, and they're doing good, but then they hit a sore spot for some reason, and it's the topic of when you're in a relationship. AJ was alluding to the fact that maybe Mendeecees might feel a kind of way about Yandy's success, because remember, he was incarcerated. And so the whole time she was holding him down, but she was even successful before they met. And so you could kind of see, I wouldn't say jealousy per se, but I feel like once again, he always feels like she's taking him for granted. That's what I get from Mendeecees. When he's around Yandy, it's almost like an insecurity, almost like the roles are being reversed. And she's not like that. To me, she thinks the world of him. She does. She really, really does. She even gets emotional um, in the scene and how she discusses how towards the end of as they get ready to do the balloon release towards the end of the broadcast, she just expressing to him, you're the one. You've always been the one. I've always felt like you're the one. I can't see my life without you. She really, really loves Mendeecees. I think they're going to be okay, but they definitely need individual as well as couples therapy. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I think more couples should have therapy. He gets upset at that point. And AJ, she has to go, Yanni has to go get him and bring him back. And she just expressed to the both of them, she says she feels like with them, they need to work on patience, better communication, and consideration for one another. And I think she hit the nail on the head with all three of those things. I feel like that's exactly what the two of them need. Okay, so not AJ, got AJ in my mind. Ray J and Princess, they don't even make it to the session. They get into a horrible argument, And I see some very bad verbal abuse. Princess is not all she cracks up to be. Her name might be Princess, but her behavior was not princess like. She has a thing with name calling. That doesn't work with everybody. And that is verbal abuse. Um, and you can see Ray J saying, look, I could go in, I could say some unpleasant things. It's almost like she picks at him until he unleashes. And then when he explodes on her, then she cries victim. You can't do that. Not when you're picking and picking and picking. It doesn't work that way. So they never even make it to the exit interview with AJ. So we're going to move on from them and work on Rashida and Kirk. Um, I think because they're the more mature of the couples, they're the older, of the couples. They definitely, to me, need the least work. Um, they're able to identify with each other their faults. Um, they know what they're doing wrong in a relationship, and it's relinquishing a lot of. I think Rashida's biggest thing is her trust, and I definitely get that. You have a baby outside the marriage, your spouse is definitely gonna be looking at you a kind of way like, can I really trust you? So I definitely feel Rashida on that. But you cannot harbor and hold on to that stuff. And what Kirk was saying is anytime they have an argument, she throws the past up. That can be very damaging in a relationship. If you say, I forgive you, forgive it and forget it and leave it alone. That right there, that repetitive cycle of throwing stuff back up in people's face, that can be that can be a deal breaker as far as a relationship goes. People get tired of being badgered. You can't keep holding my past over me. And if you say that you forgive me, let's move forward. So with them, those were the areas. Um, Taking responsibility for their actions, that's Kirk. And with Rashida, learning how to trust and let go of the past. And then they move on to Ryder and Michael, the pregnancy. Um, Ryder finally admits that she wants to compromise. So Ryder finally admits to AJ as well as Michael that she asked her in the long run, what does she want? And so she finally admits, in the future, she'd like to get married. Um, and she says she'll definitely, as a sign of good faith, she's okay with cutting down on the amount of side chicks that they have in their relationship and working on a new contract, because I guess they have a contract as far as how open and free their relationship currently is. And Michael is saying that he doesn't want to be dishonest. He doesn't want to tell her lies. So if they cut all the side chicks altogether, he says he knows he's going to go back and cheat. And so he doesn't want to be dishonest with her. He said that's what makes their relationship work is the fact that they're both honest, open and honest with each other. I believe once that baby gets here, I believe Michael, you're going to see a different side of him. I think that maybe that baby is a change that he needs to open up his eyes and be like, you know what, it's time for me to settle down. Um, and so AJ, that was her thing with them. She wants them to work on a new contract as far as their relationship is concerned. Then we move on to Delicious and Raymond. Raymond asks for, he feels like more positive reinforcement and encouragement. And so Delicious stops right there and she's like, I've been giving you that. And then she goes back into the relationship and she hones into the root of why she feels like she's getting tired of the roles being reversed. So she's the alpha in a relationship and he's more the beta where the roles should be reversed. And that's why she's always been so adamant about him being the man in a relationship. She's like, I need for you to step up, and she reflects on her past relationship and what happened when her child's father got incarcerated and everything was put on her. She was like, that was a lot, to take on. And so he realized in the end, Raymond said, I want my marriage to work. I know what I need to do, just give me patience and time and consideration. And it's good. I believe, because they're so fresh and new, time is really of the essence for them. And I think Delicious, if she will just hang in there, given the patience that he needs, then things will be different between them. Then they get to the end and they do the balloon release. And it was really, really, very sweet. And finally, AJ and Princess come back to the group. Oh, their relationship has been something else. And so they definitely have work. But at the end, they did their little confessionals, and they both say, I think they've come to the point to where they realize they're better separating and doing the co-parenting versus trying to mend their relationship. It's too far gone. It is, and it's going to just continue. And all they're going to continue to do is hurt each other. So it's just, why not go through all this? You go your way, I'll go my way, and let's just be the best parents we can to our children. And I think, to be able to realize that, especially when you're trying to hold on to the relationship, I think sometimes you just have to come to that reality. Come to that reality. So I hope things work out for them. We'll see. We shall see. Okay. Well, that is it. I'm going to find some new shows to do reviews on. I was hesitant about doing reviews because I've seen some people do some amazing reviews. And with me just being a beginner and learning how this works, I was nervous. But I'm pretty proud of myself. I think I've done pretty good. And you guys have let me know in the comment section, so I appreciate your feedback. It's imperative. Let me know if I'm missing something, if I'm guide something, because I'm not perfect. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe, and tell someone about Southern Belle 74. Take care.